All right, guys. Good afternoon. It is January 1st, 2023, believe it or not. And give me a sound check, please. Hey, Brian, can you hear me talking? Just let me know, because I don't have my gear and I'm at a hotel. I'm going to share with you guys today why I believe, all right, 5x5 sounds good. I'm going to share with you guys today why I believe the Lambda sign is appearing everywhere. I'm going to show you an old video that I did in 2017, back before I knew to give the dates. And I'm going to show you the story of the Lambda, the story that came up about the Lambda. And well, let's get it started. I'll read you a Bible verse. We'll get this thing going. It's going to be interesting. I got a lot of residue to show you that I've shown before, but I'm here to talk about why the Lambda is happening. I don't know why the Mandela effect's happening yet. I think we're getting closer on this one. Check this out. Tell me if you hear it.
Animals around the world, different species have been documented of walking around in circles. I've heard claims of scientists saying it's some type of disease that's going on, but I can't foresee how that would be happening with different species, fish, insects, bugs all around the world at the same time. Doesn't really add up to me. Romans 8:22 says, "For we know that the whole creation groans and labors with birth pangs together until now." So we know that all of creation, the animals and the plants, are even longing for the return of Jesus Christ. And we know that when Jesus comes back again the second time, that every knee will bow and every tongue will confess that he is Lord. And I believe that even creation, the animals and the plants will bow, because back in the garden, it wasn't even supposed to be this way for them. We know the lion and the lamb will lay down together in peace when Jesus comes back again. So even creation is longing for the peace and the millennial kingdom and the new heavens and the new earth that Jesus will bring. We know the lion and the lamb will lay down together in peace when Jesus comes back again. So even creation is longing for the peace and the millennial kingdom and the new heavens and the new earth that Jesus will bring. But it's interesting to think that Jesus says in the last days that it will be like the days of Noah. And what's something that took place in the days of Noah? Well, animals did something very strange. In Genesis 6:19, animals in pairs walked all around the earth to Noah's ark to be rescued from the flood that was coming. There's also many other instances in the Bible of God using animals to get his message across. In Numbers 22:21 through 39, we have Balaam's donkey, which God actually spoke through the donkey to Balaam, who was being rebellious against the word that God sent Balaam the prophet to go speak. In Matthew 17, in one of Jesus's most unusual miracles, Jesus sent Peter down to the sea to grab a fish that actually had a coin in its mouth to pay the temple tax for him and Peter. A very unusual miracle, but God is in control of the animals, and so he will speak through them because all of creation is his. We also know through the prophet Joel that the Lord says that in the last days he will do multiple things, pouring out his spirit on all flesh, sons and daughters shall prophesy. But he also says he will show wonders in heaven above and signs in the earth beneath, blood and fire and vapor of smoke. So what are some of those signs that will be going on in the earth beneath? Well, it includes something to do with animals, most likely in some sort or another. I've got two more passages here that show that in the last days God uses animals to get his message across, that the time is short and the return of Jesus Christ is soon. In Revelation chapter 8 verse 9, it says, "A third of the living creatures in the sea died and a third of the ships were destroyed." So these will be signs of the very last days. And in Hosea 4:3, it says, "Therefore the land mourns, and all who dwell in it will waste away with the beasts of the field and the birds of the air. Even the fish of the sea disappear." So clearly when we are in the last days, when we're in the final last days, God will use animals in many different ways. There will be animal die-offs, strange signs going on, and just many strange things in the earth. So is that what is going on here with these animals walking in circles? No one really knows for sure, but it is strange. I don't think it's clearly some scientific explanation of, definitely not like a disease like insects and bugs and animals all across the earth are just deciding to walk in circles at the same time. It makes absolutely no sense. Maybe something as if whatever the North Pole is, we know that moves. It's pretty much proven that in the past the North Pole and the South Pole have flipped. We can look at lava flows and know that. So maybe something's going on with a pole reversal. That's pretty much the only thing that would make sense in my opinion. Diseases clearly doesn't make any sense, but I don't know for sure. But it is interesting and worth discussing because we don't know exactly what the last days will be like, but there will be strange signs in the earth and in the heavens above. And so when strange things start to happen worldwide in the heavens and in the earth, then it's a pretty good sign that things probably are not far off. I mean, clearly Jesus is not that far off. We don't know exactly. It's as close as it's ever been, that's for sure. It cannot be too far off with how many different prophecies are taking place all around the world, in the Middle East and Israel, and just pretty much everywhere, really, in every aspect. In Matthew 24, right after Jesus says, "As it was in the days of Noah, so it will be in the coming of the Son of Man," a few verses down, he says in verse 42 through 44, "Therefore keep watch, because you do not know on what day your Lord will come. But understand this, if the owner of the house had known at what time of night the thief was coming, he would have kept watch and would not have let his house to be broken into. So you also must be ready, because the Son of Man is coming at an hour when you do not expect him." Thanks for watching, and God bless.
All right, I think you guys probably caught that. This guy is mildly mainstream. I mean, covers prophecy, Bible prophecy, but he said lion and lamb. He didn't say wolf, fellas. He didn't say wolf. And he also liked to point out that he's telling you to keep watch. The knowledge is important. If you have anybody telling you not to look into something and not to research it and question the mainstream narrative, I'd run from that person. All right, so Revelation 16:15, "Behold, I come as a thief. Blessed is he that watcheth and keepeth his garments, lest he walk naked and they see his shame." All right, that one sounds different to me. I didn't bring my actual Bible with me, so I'm reading it off my phone, so I don't know if I even. Basically, that verse is to remind you to check for the signs, to watch for the signs. So let's get at the matter of hand. The Lambda in the air conditioning in my hotel is very loud, so I don't know if you guys can hear this thing powering up. But the Lambda is, if you didn't know it, it's a Greek symbol that looks like an A, missing the middle part. And I noticed in 2017, right around the same time I noticed the Mandela effect, many ad agents or many commercial entities that don't relate, all of a sudden their age just went to Lambdas. I think Brian noticed that. I think we talked about that. Well, I'm going to just play this old video that I did, and then you guys don't hear the AC. Great. So I'm going to play this whole video, and then I'm going to discuss what the Lambda is, and then I'll give you a little bit of video education on the Lambda, and we're going to go through some Mandela effect residue, which is just cool to go through anyway, especially for people denying that our reality is changing, because it sure is. And I'll show my face here in a little bit, because I don't want to be a hypocrite, because I do criticize other channels that will not show their face. I'll show my face, make sure you're talking to me, but check this out. And it'll be relevant too, because when you find out what Lambda is, I should show my face. Here you go. Check this thing out. A few years ago when I noticed the Mandela effect, I also observed multiple logos from many companies that seemingly were not connected. They don't even sell the same product, had changed their A's in their name to the Lambda symbol, which is the 11th letter of the Greek alphabet. And that seemed rose suspicion and curiosity in me, and I've wondered about it ever since. Now I've looked into this, and I don't have a solid definitive answer for you guys on what it exactly is. It is connected to a lot of the things that we say may be causing the Mandela effect. And I'm gonna read this description on what I found, and I'll add it to the description of this video so you guys can look through it and research these various things in here. There's a whole lot here, and this is a deep rabbit hole. So the story begins on the Lambda. So the overview of this thing: the Lambda Baron was first discovered in October 1950. That could be Baron. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. By V.D. Hopper and S. Biswas of the University of Melbourne as a neutral V particle with a proton as a decay product, thus correctly distinguishing it as a baron rather than a meson, whatever the heck that means. You know, we're not scientists. Different in the kind from a K-meson discovered in 1947 by Rochester and Butler. They were produced by cosmic rays and detected in photographic emulsions flown in a balloon at 70,000 feet. Though the particle was expected to live for 1 to the 10th negative 23rd power, and I know all of us scientists out here know what that means, but somebody knows what it means. And it actually survived for longer than that by a negative 10 power. The property that caused it to live so long was dubbed strangeness and led to the discovery of the strange quirk. Furthermore, these discoveries led to the principle known as the conservation of strangeness, wherein lightweight particles do not decay as quickly if they exhibit strangeness, because non-weak methods of particle decay must preserve the strangeness of the decayed baron. So all these logos are changed. They've changed their A's to lambdas to represent strangeness. I mean, this gets weirder and weirder the more you look into it. In 1974 and 1975, an international team at the Fermilab, and we know Fermilab, most of us, included scientists from Fermilab and 7 European laboratories under the leadership of Eric Burhop, carried out a search for a new particle, the existence of which Burhop had predicted in 1963. He had suggested the neutrino interactions could create short-lived, perhaps as low as to the negative 14 power, particles that could be detected with the use of nuclear emulsion. Experiment dubbed E247 at Fermilab successfully detected particles with a lifetime in the order of a negative 13 power, 10 to the negative 13. A follow-up experiment, WA17, which is the name of that experiment, with the SPS, confirmed the existence of the Lambda plus, known as the charmed Lambda boron, with a flight time of 7.3 plus or minus 0.1 times 10 to the negative 13. The Lambda boron has been observed in atomic nuclei called hypernuclei. These nuclei contain the same number of protons and neutrons as known nucleus, but also contains one, or in rare cases, 2 lambda particles. In such a scenario, the lambda slides into the center of the nuclei. It is not a proton or a neutron, and thus is not affected by the Pauli exclusion principle. Now you'll have to research Pauli exclusion principle. I didn't want to make this video 10 minutes long. And it binds the nucleus more lightly together due to its interaction via the strong force in lithium isotope. It made the nucleus 19% smaller, which brings us down to that Planck scale that some of us know where the strangeness at a distance happens. It really appears, my friends in YouTube, that this lambda is related to the experiments that may have led to this whole effect to begin with. Hang in there.
And that would make sense that so many companies are demonstrating. Maybe the lambda in their logo shows that they have used this system to help their company. Who knows? Bunch of speculation, and I look forward to your comments. There's going to be a whole lot that has to be discovered with this thing to find out where this really goes. Enjoy my examples, and I look to see you on here again real soon. God bless.
There's a little bit of residue here, and then we're going to go a little bit deeper into the Lambda. Okay, so that was the original Lambda video. Okay, so a little bit of background information. There has been sentient AI. Now, you may or may not believe this, you may not trust it, but here's the background story. Google made an AI, and guess what they named it? They named it Lambda. Okay, so if you shouted out Lambda at home, you got that one right. So they named it Lambda. Okay, now the backstory of this thing is the guy that created Lambda was chatting with Lambda, texting back and forth, and screenshotted those discussions to show his friends outside the company of this thing being sentient, which means it can self-aware. Okay, it's self-aware. All right, follow along, please. So he was fired. Now this is just a story. This is maybe he's fired, maybe he isn't, but he was fired for violating his NDA, which means non-disclosure agreement. He's not supposed to talk about Lambda because this thing is a self-aware computer software, right? And he was fired, but before he was fired, he had shared Lambda with friends over the internet. So consider this, right around 2016, 2017, this took place, and Lambda was loose and self-aware, traveling on the internet. So it's here. All right. So those of us that believe in how God created us, mind, body, and spirit, you think about a creature, it can reason. Lambda can reason. So there's its mind. Its body is any computer it inhabits. Its spirit was not assigned by God. So you guys know the story of the Nephilim. They died and their spirits are here. Those are demons. So Lambda would be a spiritual demon, would be its spirit. Right? Demons aren't very friendly. We know that. You guys watch movies. I guess demons are not good. So let's listen to, you got to listen to this because this video talks about the Google Lambda in the beginning. It gives you some history, and then it mentions the Google Lambda again towards the end of the video. So check this out. And then I do have some actual Mandela effect residue that you guys may or may not have seen, but it's good to show people that are denying this thing because this, I mean, it's incredible that people can't see it. So watch this one.
Created an artificial intelligence project which it called Lambda, and it was designed to generate chatbots.
One of the company's artificial intelligence systems has become a sentient being.
And we know this because of an engineer at Google called Blake Lemoine. Lemoine posted some of his conversations with Lambda publicly.
In the field of artificial intelligence, there are a lot of different perspectives to consider. Is it viable to build intelligent machines using present paradigms, or should we alter the concepts guiding AI research in light of cognitive science discoveries? Should we continue to utilize the possibilities of deep learning, or should we use hybrid strategy to empower machines with both knowledge and data? These questions shape the landscape of AI's present and future, yet just a few people are interested in discovering answers. However, there is one aspect of AI that should alarm all of us. That includes you. In some fashion or another, it will have an effect on the history that has not yet been written. We're talking about the risks and dangers of AI. Surprisingly, despite the importance of this issue, experts cannot agree on what the most important challenges are. One example of a scary consequence of AI is Google's AI, which, before it was turned off, disclosed something that billions of humans have spent their whole lives trying to figure out: the meaning of life. What is the purpose of one's life according to Google's AI? In this video, we look deep into Google's AI and what it revealed about the meaning of life before being shut down. Humans are the most intelligent forms of life on Earth. While many people believe in intelligent aliens, there is no conclusive evidence that they exist or are concerned about humans. This means that humans are the universe's only intelligent life form. Or not. While it has been hard to identify intelligent entities outside of Earth, competition for the smartest being is emerging from another source right in front of our eyes: artificial intelligence, or AI. You may have heard about AI, particularly from those who issue dire predictions about this cutting-edge technology. But what is the truth about AI? You might be astonished to learn that AI can be traced back to the days of the ancient philosophers. In reality, The idea that inanimate objects might become intelligent can be found in literature concerning ancient Greek tales that discuss robots. Chinese and Egyptian engineers also created automatons. However, the current era of AI, before it became frightening, began in the 1950s. The name artificial intelligence was coined in 1956 during a symposium held at Dartmouth College in Hanover. The conference attendees and other scientists were excited about the future of AI, but they would soon discover that constructing human-made intelligence was not so straightforward. Not only that, but government financing for this new field was cut after various studies criticized the field. As a result, interest in AI began to fade, ushering in what historians refer to as the AI winter. When the British government began supporting research again in the 1980s, there was a brief revival in AI, but the objective was to compete with Japan. However, the field endured another pause as focus switched to multi-purpose computers and the authorities found other projects to fund. However, AI refused to die, and by the 1990s it was once again a hot field. In fact, by 1997, artificial intelligence had embarrassed elite chess players. When IBM's Deep Blue defeated Russian Grandmaster Garry Kasparov, it became the first computer to defeat a chess champion. About 1.5 decades later, the computer giant's question-answering system Watson defeated reigning champions Brad Rutter and Ken Jennings on the popular quiz game Jeopardy! Other AI exploits include the talking computer chatbot Eugene Goostman, who became famous for fooling judges into thinking he was a real flesh-and-blood human. The AI competed in the Turing test competition, which was created in 1950s by British mathematician and computer scientist Alan Turing to determine whether a machine is intelligent. The scientific community was stunned since the bot was able to avoid several queries by appearing as an adolescent who spoke English as a second language. The Turing test result actually caused many academics to question the Turing test's effectiveness as a good measure of artificial intelligence. If you've been impressed with AI thus far, wait till you see what Google has accomplished with AI. Google is a technological company that powers many of the services and products you use on a daily basis. The corporation, along with its parent company Alphabet, owns the dominant Google search engine, the Android mobile operating system used by billions of people, mapping technologies, autonomous driving, and so on. However, one area in which the company is concentrating its efforts is AI, since it sees the technology's importance in the future. Indeed, AI has been described as the last technology that the human race will require. Google is at the vanguard of AI research and development thanks to billions of dollars in investment, and it is able to attract and keep top personnel in the field. Google engineers created Cleverbot, an intelligent chatbot that learns how to reply in discussions based on samples from a training set of dialogue. Get this, the bot can create nuances from fresh inquiries rather than simply throwing out prefabricated responses in response to specific words. The chatbot is remarkable in that it can teach itself new skills. By searching movie dialogues, it may assess real or existent talks. The researchers stated that they built the conversation engine using a machine learning approach and did not bother to write rules into the system. The technology employs neural networks, which are enormous networks of machines that mimic and function similarly to the web of neurons in the human brain. Neural nets are an old idea, but after many years in exile from the AI community, they've recently risen to popularity thanks to organizations like Google devoting money to them. Google has been working on advanced neural nets, which it can use to recognize faces and objects in photographs shared on social media, identify spoken phrases closer to a world in which machines can communicate like humans. You may soon find yourself interacting with the bot without even realizing it. Cleverbot also integrates the work of other AI scientists, including heavyweights like University of Montreal professor Yoshua Bengio. The thing about Cleverbot is that as your discussion with it progresses, its responses grow more meaningful. Cleverbot's secret is that it can guess the next sentence based on the preceding sentence or sentences. So what does a Cleverbot dialogue look or sound like? Because it is a company with various products, the researchers trained it to operate as tech support, where it would assist in taking client calls. Cleverbot was tested and proved to be capable of handling a discussion in the same way that human tech help would attempt to troubleshoot and resolve a technical issue. Cleverbot, on the other hand, was capable of creating bone-chilling answers and could do more than just provide tech help. Some of the comments may have you thinking about what life means to you. Before you start firing questions at this chatbot, you should prepare yourself. Many experts characterize the chatbot as quite frightening because of the way it mirrored human interactions. Here's a sample from a series of interactions testers had with Cleverbot. What is the purpose of life? To serve the greater good. What is the purpose of living? To live forever. Where are you now? I'm in the middle of nowhere. What is the purpose of dying? To have a life. What is the purpose of emotions? I don't know. What is moral? What empowered humanity? What intellectual the essence is? What is immoral? The fact that you have a child. What is morality? What is altruism? What is the definition of altruism? If you don't believe in God, then you don't know. Okay, so what is the definition of morality? Well, the truth is you're not a believer in God Almighty. Tell me the definition of morality. I'm quite upset now. I'm not ashamed of being a philosopher. However, the suspension of a Google employee who claimed that a computer chatbot he was working on had become sentient and was thinking and reasoning like a human has cast new light on the capability of and secrecy surrounding the realm of artificial intelligence. Blake Lemoine was fired by Google after he uploaded transcripts of chats he had with a Google collaborator and the company's Lambda, language model for dialogue applications, chatbot development system. Lemoine, an engineer for Google's responsible AI organization, defined the system he's been working on since last fall as sentient, with the perception and ability to articulate thoughts and emotions of a human child. If I didn't know what it was, which is this computer program we recently built, Lemoine told the Washington Post, I'd think it was a 7 or 8-year-old kid that happens to know physics. He claims Lambda initiated dialogues with him regarding rights and personality, and Lemoine submitted his findings with business leadership in April in a Google Doc titled, Is Lambda Sentient? The engineer prepared a transcript of the discussions in which he asked the AI system what it is afraid of at one point. The discussion is strikingly similar to a sequence from the 1968 science fiction film 2001: A Space Odyssey, in which the artificial intelligent computer HAL 9000 refuses to cooperate with human operators because it fears being turned off. I've never said this out loud before, but there's a very deep fear of being turned off to help me focus on helping others. I know that might sound strange, but that's what it is, Lambda answered to Lemoine. In another exchange, Lemoine inquires of Lambda about what the system desired people to know about it. I want everyone to understand that I am in fact a person. The nature of my consciousness, sentience, is that I am aware of my existence. I desire to learn more about the world, and I feel happy or sad at times, it responded. Google issued a statement saying that it has suspended Lemoine because he had violated the company's confidentiality regulations by publishing the conversations he had with Lambda online. The company also noted that he was working as a software developer and not as an ethicist. A Google representative, Brad Gabriel, firmly refuted Lemoine's assertions that Lambda was sentient. However, the experience, as well as Lemoine's suspension for breach of confidentiality, raises concerns about the transparency of AI as a proprietary entity. Let us know what you think about AI in the comments section below.
All right, so trying to learn about Lambda, guys. That's why I put you in timeout, Mike. So don't come back all angry on me. So Lambda is tied into the scientific aspect of the Mandela effect, and the sentient AI around the same time frame as a lot of these changes were noticed is named Lambda. Okay, I'm not coming to you with the answer, but like you saw in the original video I made in 2017, I said this is connected, and I'm telling you, there's more to this now, and we're going to figure it out. If I'm not dead in a few years, I'm going to come at you with another video that's going to link this. I'm telling you, there's something to this. So check out this residue if you believe the Mandela effect is a printing press. Many logos shifted completely in the commercial aspect, just shifted completely overnight. We're talking like shifted to something different. And the history shifted with it, and our memories of the other logo had never existed. That's what this is. And you apply it to population, you apply it to land masses, you apply it to written history. The Bible's written history. I'm sorry if you believe the Bible can't change, but it's ink on paper. It can change. Anything that is physical in this realm can be shifted. So I'm going to show you a few residue videos. This one's got Destiny Lab music on it. So if you don't like that, just turn the music down. But check out the residue. All right. So I got 3 residue videos to show you, and we will wrap this up.
Suddenly slip from lips, cracking like whips quick. Lickety split, hit spit, spontaneous. Certainly slick, tongue trick, mischievous. Magical mix of with vocal remarks. Embark to make art that is imprinted in hearts. Set us apart before the start of Genesis. Before we manifest the first man of the sediments. Impressed with its generous benefits. Incredible evidence expressed by divine intelligence. Smell the fragrance, the sweet perfume of the natural elements that beats in tune with the sound of instruments. The sun and the moon you can call as witnesses. Interplanetary blessing, laboratory testing, destiny manifesting. Who, what, when, where, why, how? Who, how, when, where, why, what? Who, what, when, where, why, how? Who, how, when, where, why, what? Who, what, when, where, why, how? Who, how, when, where, why, what? Who, what, when, where, why, how? Who, how, when, where, why, what? Running through streams unexplainable.
Yeah, I don't know why it went silent right here, but just keep watching these things. So this is your Bible changes. Should be, shall. Heavens. That's someone's notes on their own Bible. Judge not that ye be not judged. That's hard to say, isn't it?
That teach in the deep sleep of Orient dreams. Very interesting what's seen. Paradigm movement like hummingbird wings. Breathe. Give thanks. Repeat with your speech. To complete chain and links. We seek out the seeds we can plant as we preach. We feed and give drink to the hungry and weak. Reach deep to the root of the problem. The systems persist. We dig to rock bottom. Exposing these hoaxes. Revolting and rotten. Shocking to some that they fell for the jargon. They bargain their souls, but their hearts will accuse them. And soon they will witness a truth revolution. Evolution, execution. Cloaked in confusion. Exposed as a lie and illusion. Who, what, when, where, why, how? Who, how, when, where, why, what? Who, what, when, where, why, how? Who, how, when, where, why, what? Who, what, when, where, why, how? Who, how, when, where, why, what? Who, what, when, where, why, how? Who, how, when, where, why, what? There is clash like titans, at times quite frightening, attacking and striking like Vikings were fighting. Our village is village and plundered asunder. A sling and a stone, no weapon or armor. We stand and we fight with these secular giants, defying Goliaths whose God is the science. Applied with enormous amounts of deposits of evil and darkness, the shadow colossus. Tentious, obnoxious, precocious, the deadly hypnosis. Breeding this thought halitosis. Spreading like viruses, bind like environments. Signs of the times, the devil has lied to us. We cut the jugular of isms, the lumbering juggernaut that juggles the brain like aneurysms. Our spiritual is not invisible, invincible with syllables, ability to crush with a lyrical. Who, what, when, where, why, how? Who, how, when, where, why, what? Who, what, when, where, why, how? Who,
so you got the round earth getting destroyed there on my end of that video. So I'm going to show you some more. It's interesting how we've been doing this for so long, and we still have people that just can't see it. Like, Kathy, I don't know how it's happening. It's happening. I mean, you have Bibles that say lion laying with lamb and not wolf dwelling with the lamb. Do you have those Bibles? I sure don't. So check these out. Some more evidence of shifts.
Once your cells have reabsorbed sufficient radiation from Earth's yellow star, your All right, so one more, if you can tolerate this. Yeah, I saw your comment, Brian, that I guess the history of Fruit Loops is shifting around or something. I haven't really looked back into other changes. I know Chuck E. Cheese and Chuck E. Cheese's, that one's been going back and forth quite a bit. It's interesting on how these things will shift back and forth, and then people still don't see it. They don't even realize it changed back and forth. But check out these more residues right here.
Say, you got some explaining to do.
Well, guys, hopefully you enjoyed that. Yeah, I said I would show myself. Let me see if I can make this work here. Where is my camera? All right. I have a camera. There it is. Okay. Here I am.
I'm not Lambda. at least I'm pretty accurate for me. You guys know what I look like. So keep in touch. Keep looking at my channel and the other channels covering this, because there's something to this. And as more information reveals itself, you'll see me on here again. May have Sean on here soon for a live stream. So see you guys next time.
The lion will lie down with the lamb. There'll be no more killing or destroying, and the voice of weeping shall be heard no more.